Hello guys, Techinthehouse here for another live stream. Welcome everyone. This is your captain talking from the ship in the space, this vast cosmos. So today, as you've seen by the title, we're gonna be discussing, as always, having an interesting and open debate to be able to hear everyone's opinions and discuss and have fun and have an enjoyable environment. So there will be two articles. One it's about how iPhone 17 Slim rumors are still floating around. The second one will be about Google's empire, which is under siege. So it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be very interesting, and I'm very thankful for everyone who's here, and also for the people who are about to be joining later, further in the live stream. So welcome everyone, and we'll be starting soon. This is your captain speaking out, and I'll be back, of course. Hello guys, this is your captain speaking, and I'll be sending you guys now for the waiting room. Just for the people who have joined just right now, welcome to the live stream. So today's live stream will be both about iPhone's rumors and Google's empire being under siege. It's gonna be a very interesting debate, and if you're new to this live stream, welcome. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe, and just so you know, this is a very open live stream. We're basically just chilling around, and everyone is free to leave their opinions. I'm very curious to know what you're thinking about, so if you're watching this live, leave all your thoughts and comment on everything on the chat, or if you're watching this as a pre-recorded live stream, do please leave your thoughts and opinions on the comment section down below. Welcome, and I'll be back soon. This is your captain speaking, and I'll be sending you guys now, as I've said earlier, to the post screen. See you soon. Beep. Hello guys, Techinthehouse here, so we'll be starting the live stream right now. Welcome everyone, thank you for joining me for once again yet another live stream in which we just chill together and enjoy each other's company and share some interesting thoughts on tech content and on the tech world, and hopefully we reach some interesting conclusions. So as always, this is an open space for debate. Feel free to leave your comments and opinions on the chat, or if you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, on the comment section down below. I'm always very curious to know what everyone is thinking about, and I will certainly read it and respond to you. So here we are. Let me just make a quick checkup on the sound and it'll be starting in 10 seconds. Okay, sound is great actually. So we'll be starting. So today we have two articles. We'll start, and you probably already know that by the title of the live stream. So we'll start with iPhone 17 Slim rumors still floating around. How interesting. Yes, this seems to be an article regarding some rumors I've seen before about Apple preparing kind of, you know how the MacBook lineup has MacBook Air, or how the iPad lineup has had iPad Air. There were rumors that Apple would now breach this difference in regards to the iPhone lineup and create an iPhone Air or an iPhone Slim in this case, something that would give a whole bunch of importance to the thickness, which is not unprecedented for Apple, as I've just said. So, and me personally, this is something that makes me very, very happy because for the past, gosh, I don't even know, 3 to 4 years now, I'll be saying over and over again that I would not buy one of the new phones, flagships, the flagship devices, because they are too heavy, too bulky, too big, just overall. And if Apple suddenly creates somehow magically, let's say, a flagship that still retains all the qualities of a flagship, you know, a good camera, good battery, perfect performance, everything great, and still delivers to us a slim, lightweight, most importantly, lightweight device, I'll be very happy. And finally, after, I don't know, 4 years, I'll be content with a flagship, because ever since this race to have bigger and bigger cameras has started, phones are just simply too heavy. When I look at past phones from 3 to 4 years ago, you can see like perfect performance because they had flagship devices for that time, of those times, that are still, they still perform perfectly fine, and they are not heavy, they're lightweight. They're phones with, let's say, 200 grams, 195 grams, 210 grams, not 250, 270, not these crazy weights that we've seen these days. So for me, ever since that time, the perfect phone would be somewhere below 200 grams. And ever since then, phones have been over that, so not very interesting. But seems this article will finally bring us some hope in regards to that, so we'll see. Let's start reading the article. So, a new rumor suggests the iPhone's return to thinness is making it hard to fit things like a battery and a SIM card. Okay, so this is not as much of as good news as we were thinking. Apparently, assuming that they are attempting it, because this is all rumors of course, they might be having trouble with it. This is the problem with making a thin device. It's hard in the sense that to fit all the things that are required to have a proper flagship, you know, a big battery, to have good autonomy, powerful performance, to have fast, quick interface, that takes space. And making a device thin works literally against that. So it's a complicated balance to achieve. And if I'm sure that if anyone can do it, it's Apple. They've done it with the iPad, they've done it with the MacBook Air, so I'll take this with a grain of salt. If they are truly working on this and committed to achieving this, I think they will do it. If anyone can do it, it's them. But let's see what the article says further. So, Apple engineers are wrestling with where to put the SIM card, battery and thermal materials in the rumored iPhone 17 Slim, according to the information. Although US iPhones haven't had SIM cards for a couple of years now, they're required to in China, making it tricky, but necessary hurdle to get over. Okay, this is interesting. It's not. I was thinking about this when they said that they were trying to fit a trim card. Excuse me, a SIM card. But this is not just a China thing. In Europe as well, iPhones in Europe have a SIM tray to have a SIM card. I think the thing of having like electronic SIM cards that don't exist physically and you don't need to put in a little drawer, it's an America thing. So I can tell you that here in Europe you still use SIM cards. They're not like, they're nano SIM cards, like little, very, very, very small nano SIM cards, but they're still physical. So it's not that you don't have the feature available of having electronic. You have, and our mobile operators make it available for you, but you don't have to. You're not forced. You buy an iPhone, you can insert a physical SIM card. But yes. So assuming if this wasn't a trouble, it would be of course one less thing to think about in regards to Apple trying to make the device thin. Unfortunately, it's something they have to take into account. But let's see if they manage to go around this problem. Let's continue with the article. The 17 slim inch center mounted camera will reportedly be surrounded by a rectangular bump that's made of aluminum instead of glass. It also says the iPhone Plus will leave the lineup, something that's been rumored of, and alongside whispers about this new phone. Okay, so supposedly I think this is referring to a picture that has been circulating, which is not actually here on the article, which is the iPhone and a blue iPhone, I think, with a centered camera, like two eyes in the middle of the phone in the upper side of the back of the phone. And I saw this image, and the moment I saw it, I said, no, this is fake, this is not real, this is one of those enthusiastic mock-ups made by very talented people of the community. But here they're presenting it as something plausible, and I don't think so, from my opinion. But you guys at home, please do let me know what you think about this. If you've seen this mock-up that they're referring to, this 3D model, I think it was 2D, 3D. If you've seen this model at all, please do let me know what you think about it. Is this plausible? Could it be that Apple is producing an iPhone with such a completely different design? I don't believe so, personally. But let's continue moving on the article. So, other rumors around the 17 Slim or Air or whatever Apple names it include that it will feature a 6.6 inch or 6.55 inch display and an aluminum frame. It could get a more energy dense battery, which we'll need if it's under 6mm thick, has the information right. Okay, that's an interesting thing, because for the past couple of years, the one component in the phone which hasn't changed as much as the others is in fact the battery. So if Apple did manage to break through that halt in innovation and create a different type of battery technology, I'm supposing, that you can that allows you to like store has more energy with less space, that would be perfect for this endeavor of theirs of getting a phone to be as thin as possible. Now the question is whether or not that's achievable. I've seen in the past some different technologies with graphene and other things in which you can have certainly smaller and thinner batteries, but we don't know how stable is that on the long run and how reliable is that, because in a huge part because they haven't been tried at all, they haven't been tested. So if anything, they need to start getting out there into actual products so that we can know, of course, with all the supposedly existing safety measures, because we know what has happened in the past, even with normal batteries apparently that were regulated, but as soon as they started going into planes, they just exploded. And I'm referring to Samsung, yes. But let's continue with the article. So that's slimmer than 6.9mm, iPhone 6, Apple's all-time thinnest champ, a distinction that famously came with certain structural compromises. And none of that could come at a cost. Rumors have pegged that its price somewhere between the 12,000 per 1200 Pro Max. Okay, is this feasible? I think so. If they are truly aiming at this and it's just not a rumor, I think they will do it. I think it will be launched. I don't know if it will be iPhone 17, maybe 18, don't know. It will be launched, it will be done. This final part of the article is just basically a reference to iPhone 6, which was the slimmest iPhone at the time when it was launched and suffered from structural problems. It was the so-called famous Bendgate. Basically, you would put the phone on the, correct me if I'm mistaken, people at home, but I think this is the one that if you were to put in your pocket and sit, it could bend the thirds. I don't remember if it's the upper thirds or the lower thirds of the phone, but it would bend because it was just thin. And I think it for the record, I think it only affected the 6 Plus, no? I don't think the normal model was affected by this structural problem. But it is what it is. So there are things that need to be taken account when producing a very, very, very thin phone. But I'm sure Apple more than anyone will take into account that, hopefully, because otherwise it will damage their brand. That's something they don't want to. So if anything, I would say this is an endeavor to do carefully, but I think it's achievable. Let's see what people have to say here. And you guys at home, please do let me know your thoughts on the chat or on the comment section down below. Do you think Apple is really building the slimmest iPhone ever? And if they are, will they be successful at it? Would you buy it? Do you think it would be an exciting feature enough for you to feel compelled to buy an iPhone, or are you just a fan and you're just gonna buy it because it's the latest one? Please do let me know your comments, your thoughts on this comment section down below. So we'll be reading now. Here's a little comments about this iPhone 17 Slim rumors before we move on to the next article, which is Google's empire being under siege. Let's see what people are saying about the iPhone. So we have here Ex Machina 73 saying, personally I'm hoping for purpose-built iPhones at some point. I'd be all over an iPhone Cinema Edition. Bigger, ruggedized body, big sensor, better lenses, big battery, 4TB, more storage. Okay, I like the way the Ex Machina is imagining this, in the sense that there will be like the perfect iPhone for each and every scenario, right? That's where I'm supposing the future she's envisioning. I love it. However, I don't feel like that's the direction Apple is heading to. And it's not that we haven't seen like things adapted for specific scenarios. We've seen Apple Watch Ultra, there are examples of that, but in the iPhone specifically, I think they always like to take the broader approach possible. So I don't think they would do a specialized iPhone for something. Even because let's think about it, even when they pitch the iPhone as a cinema tool, which is very specialized, they still market it for the broader audience. So it is what it is. You don't really see Apple doing things like Xiaomi, in which they release a phone that is basically just a camera with a bunch of a full kit of accessories to mount, and it looks like a camera, and this is very, very niche and specialized. You don't see Apple do those things, and it's for a reason, and I don't think they'll be doing them in the future. I could be wrong. That is just my opinion and my prediction, but you guys at home, let me know what you think about this vision of Ex Machina 73. We have here another person, let's see, 74 Run, saying, hot take. This device will run a new version of iOS called GimpOS and will be a minimal companion device for your existing iPhone, which will do the basic phone, navigation, banking stuff, but nothing else. The most awesomest, smartest feature phone at Apple prices. You're going to love it. Okay, I sense here some irony. I see you, 74 Run. You throwing jabs at Apple. So, moving on. We have Tahar here saying, as always, The Verge readers forget that they are, a minority. With this I mean tech enthusiasts, and that the average iPhone buyer doesn't think like them. I like where this is going. A lot of people buy the iPhone as a statement, especially in countries other than the US, which are poorer and where the iPhone costs even more. If the Air is the cooler phone, because it has shiny new design and an even heftier price tag, people will still line up to buy even if it has less features. Because guess what? Most people aren't nerds like us who obsess over megapixels and gigabytes. If you can't see this or don't agree with it, fine. But do not pretend to speak for everyone and say nobody wants it. Cheers. Wow. I wish I had here some background music I could have put over this speech. But Tahir, I completely agree with your comments. Absolutely. We as tech community as a whole, we live in a bubble. Sometimes we are not, it's not that we're not familiar with the overall opinion, but we are more often than not disconnected from it. We are not permanently tuned into it because we're we're tech enthusiasts. But it's true, people mostly just like to measure their level of power with other people by comparing themselves and saying, oh, I have iPhone 12, and the next one says, oh, I have iPhone 15, so I'm 3 generations upon you. And if you go look at the specs, which we do because we are tech enthusiasts, they basically have the same device with minor changes. But for them, it's like version 12 versus version 15. So that's completely true. If this iPhone looks cool from the external point, I think people will just buy it, which is something Apple has been lacking, like design innovation. If they manage to do it, they will, I'm sure, and I agree that they will get a lot of people on board to upgrade their old iPhones. Not only people from iPhone 6, 8 or 10, but also maybe people on iPhone 11, 12, 13 will want to upgrade to 17. Just because it looks cool, mostly. They don't even care about the features, no, right? If you wanna be, if we are looking to be really accurate, most people don't use like most of the processing power they have in their flagships. So it's really just for the statement, of course, from their perspective. They're not buying it to run any heavy software or game, not at all. Not the regular people. But let's see. More comments. We have here Germanicelli saying, Germanicelli, we all know this from the MacBooks pre-chip era. Apple will have the chance to have a better daily battery and will ditch it to do a thin fragile thing that looks good on promotional videos. Pin this so in 2 years people can point fingers at me. But even if it's a great engineering achievement, everyone would prefer 2 days battery life and their heavy usage than thinner phones. Okay, I agree with this. And I could be a minority again, but I would rather lose a little bit of battery life to get a thin phone. Absolutely. You know, I can charge it. Nowadays there's chargers, there's like connection everywhere, even on buses. It's rare for you not to have a USB-C outlet or a plug or whatever. So I would indeed sacrifice a little bit of battery to get a thin phone. Mostly because even, as I was saying, the phone I use is thin and it doesn't have that much battery, and I still get through the day with it. So yes, I would prefer thin phones. But it's easier in the hand, it's easier to transport, it's easier to maneuver. I value that a lot. But again, I could be a minority. And you guys at home, please do share your comments on your opinions on the chat below or in the comment section. What do you value most on a phone? What is the feature that you think that shouldn't be tampered with, even in this case of not tampered, but like messed with, even in this case of producing a thin phone? What do you think it should not be compromised at all costs in this endeavor that Apple is trying to achieve? Please do let me know in the comment section down below. And okay, of course I see here VMFan44 saying bury me with my iPhone mini at this point. Yes, this made me remember we do have iPhone minis, but I don't think it's the same. I mean, like I think there's something magical or powerful, or you could call it whatever it is, into having a device that is both normal sized and thin rather than just thick and small. But that could be just me. But okay, that's enough of Apple's iPhone 17 Slim rumors. So now we'll be moving on for the next article. Let's move on. Here we are. So this one's gotta be good. Google's empire is under siege. Let's see what's happening. An onslaught of antitrust lawsuits could drastically change what Google looks like and how it operates, even if they don't succeed. Okay, so everyone is angry at Google. Let's find out why. I kinda know why, but let's take it with a grain of salt and let's see what's happening as for the eyes of the person who wrote this article. Let's see. Today, Google will have a final chance to prove to a federal judge that its advertising business isn't a monopoly. The US Department of Justice spent several weeks earlier this year arguing that Google maintains too much control over web advertising and uses that power to lock in customers, leaving little room for competition. The trial wraps up this week. If it loses, Google could have to make sweeping changes to the core of its business. Okay, things are looking nasty for Google. Even if the tech behemoth emerges from this trial unscathed, a spreading legal fire still jeopardizes everything it has created. For many years, Google's sprawling empire has faced little legal scrutiny, allowing the company to freely build up its search engine, browser, operating systems, line of hardware products that all intersect to bolster one another. It's the overlap of Google's massive businesses that has attracted attention from government agencies and tech industry rivals, who are set on taking apart Google's stronghold piece by piece. So, let's stop here a little bit. I mean, Google is a monopoly. I think everyone knew. I don't think this is something that was found out about now or noticed now. I think we all have seen Google slowly growing their way up there, you know. And not just by fame, but also by a lot of practices that got uncovered over the years. Some of them not very justifiable and maybe even not legal, but that's not for me to decide. But of course, they always been on fire in regards to this. But suddenly appears that at this point now there's been legal action taken from serious players in the industry. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't think it's bad to build a monopoly based on your proper capacity and capabilities and the services you provide. If you have the quality, you most certainly have the right to be the number one, in this case search engine, the number one service that people go up to get a certain specific type of service they're trying to get, which in this case is search engine. But yes, this needs to be looked into it to make sure it's all in this good light that I'm talking about, or whether there are practices that shouldn't have been put into place and that which are helping perpetuate this monopoly. So, and there are other companies maybe with that should be receiving the same level of scrutiny Google has been receiving. But that's just my opinion. Let's see. Let's continue with the article. Let me just check quickly how big is this article. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of big. It's a big article. But we need to go over it. We need to finish it. I'll be jumping some parts, but we'll go over it. This is important. So let's see what's happening. Google now faces threats from all sides. The European Union is probing its compliance with regulations on big tech. The US is suing over its search and advertising monopolies. Epic is pressing Google to open the Play Store, and Yelp is targeting Google over local search results. As President-elect Trump enters office, it's unclear what will happen next. But one thing is certain: this is the most high-stakes moment Google has found itself in yet. The biggest threat to Google is the government's antitrust lawsuit targeting Google's search business, which could result in a major breakup. In August, a federal judge ruled that Google operates a monopoly in the online search market. When laying out its case, the DOJ pointed to several aspects of Google's business, including its billion-dollar company deals with companies like Apple and Mozilla to give Google as their default search engine. Okay, let's stop here. This is part of the practices they were saying that I don't know whether they are justifiable or not, but this is true. Google is known to pay to Apple for Google to be the search engine on the iPhones. They have been doing it for many years, and apparently in regards to Mozilla Firefox as well. Is this a way of maintaining the monopoly? I mean, I would say absolutely from my perspective. You're literally shoving into people's mouths the service that is Google. But I'll even argue that at this point they don't need these practices. Because, I mean, Google is Google, it has a recognition, it has a brand, and it just works. But I will say that they are in a pivotal point in which like AI services like ChatGPT can most certainly present themselves as kind of a better search engine compared with Google. This is true, and it's probably something that Google internally is having meetings about and how to handle this situation, because it's true. AI is getting good, and as much good as human has much of a search engine as well. So just like YouTube is kind of a search engine as well without assuming it is. AI is the same thing. It's kind of a search engine without being like thought as such. But let's move on. I will jump here a little bit because this article is really big. Let's see what we have here. The Google Play Store is under fire too. In 2020, Epic Games sued Google over claims that it created an illegal monopoly by making it harder for developers and users to access other app stores, while also preventing them from using alternative payment processors inside apps. The jury ultimately sided with Epic Games, determining that its Play Store and building system are illegal monopolies. Last month, yes, this is very old news, I remember that. If nothing comes out of the lawsuits, Google will still have to change how it operates. Yes, they need to stop with those practices. Not the one in specific of the agreements, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Let's see, Trump has claimed multiple times that he spoke with Pichai on the phone, a possible sign that Google exec is looking to get Trump's good side before he assumes office. Okay, so presidency needs to be taking a big role into this. Well, it is what it is. So, tech companies run the world, or at least the digital world, but arguably both the material and digital world, and I mean, presidents do the same, they run the physical world, so it's two worlds that collide inevitably, politics and technology. It happens every now and then, despite being happening like at every moment, at all the times, but it gets attention every now and then, and I personally don't like it or dislike it when it happens because it's not really related with tech, but we can't just ignore it because it influences a lot. It's just that it only gets drawn to the light sometimes. But it is what it is, guys. This was this live stream. Well, I think we'll hand by now. We also have a very dry throat. I need to go drink some water. So thank you everyone for joining me once again for another live stream. Please don't forget to leave your thoughts on the chat or in the comment section down below. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this so far? Do you think Apple is really working on the thinnest iPhone ever? Do you think Google will have to sell parts of their businesses? I don't know, separate Google Chrome, separate Play Store, separate Android into different companies. I don't know what will happen in the future. I'm very curious. We'll see. Well, this has been it, guys. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to drop your like, subscribe if you enjoy these types of discussions, and if it's your new time on this channel, welcome to the family. Welcome to the basically just community. We are here just to have an open debate. I hope you enjoyed it. And well, I'm Techinthehouse, and I see you guys next time. I'll be sending you to the space screen. Take care. This is your captain speaking. This live stream will collapse in 10 seconds. Thank you for watching. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.